Miss?
Rosario, good evening. Can you listen to me?
Miss, good evening. So sorry.
Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We sometimes have problems with some things. So yeah, here's the problem. Don't worry. But we only have 30 minutes, right? We're going to try to do it directly.
Yes.
Continue with the lesson, okay? So tomorrow we're not going to have classes, okay?
What?
So tomorrow we're not going to have classes.
But tomorrow we won't have classes.
Yes, no, tomorrow we're not going to have. I don't know if you listened good. I said that we are not going to have classes.
Yes, Miss, but our classes is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Oh, even though, yeah, my goodness. Oh, yes, you're right. So, yes, because at the university, we don't have classes though, right?
It's supposed, but I know that there are some teachers that pass class normal in
Oh
normal.
my,
Yes.
that's so.
It's supposed that it has to be tolerance, but the tolerance it's up to the teacher.
Oh, that's terrible. Well,
Yeah.
we hope that they don't continue because all my teachers told me, no, we don't. And I was like, yes, thank you, because I wanted to sleep.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. No, I have one teacher that passed normal because the next to the elections, after the elections, we miss a lot of classes, so
Oh, yes.
yeah, we have to repose them. Yes.
Oh, yes, that's true. Okay, that's true. Yes. If that's the case, yes, I guess that yeah, good idea if it's up to the teacher, right?
Mhm.
So, until what part we stop? Sorry.
Oh, um, it was from gerunds and infinitives, but in the way to use them. I think I think I don't
Oh,
take notes. I didn't take
okay.
that class.
Uh,
Yes.
Just give me a second. So we already seen simple past continuous, reported imperative, subject adjective clauses. Oh, we were supposed to begin with. Oh, where we stop? Oh, but this is no. Okay, yes. Give me a second. Okay. So yes, okay. Yes, I got it. So we stop in verbs, gerunds, or verbs. Yes, okay. We stop in that verb. So we're going to start. No. We stop in. We already seen the present perfect continuous, embedded questions, and participial adjectives.
Embedded questions we didn't see.
Are
I
you
We
sure?
haven't seen. Yes or no?
Oh, yes, I guess we've seen. I'm going to share my screen if you remember the lesson.
Okay.
Yes. Give me a second. Okay. So, can you see it?
Didn't how we for them? I think no. Probably it happens in recorded class. I usually don't see the recorded class.
Yes, I know. Um, okay. So we're going to watch this lesson. Let me see what is the other one. Where is the other lesson?
Okay.
In the question, participial adjectives. Interested, interesting. Yes, okay. And the last one is about modals. We've seen the modals of possibility and probability.
A model of possibility and probability can and could, right? Or
Mm,
probability. What was the Modest,
Probability, must, might. No, right? Yes,
no,
okay. I agree. Okay, so we're going to see this lesson. Embedded WH questions. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Yes, yes, we stopped in that part because I don't remember leaving a class recorded about this lesson. So yes. Okay, so we're going to start with oh, maybe I got confused with tag questions.
yes,
Yes.
we've seen the that questions, but I didn't remember. I don't remember the embedded WH and yes, no question.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so we're going to start with today's lesson. It's going to be about embedded questions. So let's listen the audio.
Hi, today we're going to look at embedded WH and yes/no questions. I don't know if you've already studied them. Do you know how we form them? We're going to talk about that too.
Okay, so do you know how we form them? I don't know if you've studied them. Okay, so this is interesting. The structure of these embedded questions are interesting. So we're going to start with point number 1.
An embedded question is a question that's inside another sentence.
What do you mean? I know what you mean.
What you mean is an embedded question.
Okay, I don't know if you remember the other day question. So it was about changing the structure if you wanted to use something about it, and I told you we're going to see that in embedded questions where we have 2 questions in 1 sentence. Okay, so this is the lesson that we're going to talk about. So an embedded question is a question inside another sentence. Okay. So in this case, it's a normal question, right? So we have the WH and we have the question. Okay, do you mean? So in this case, we have a sentence, okay? So we have subject, verb, but what's going on in this part? So it is a sentence, okay? In this case, it is a question, sorry. Why it is called a question? Because we have what, okay? So it is considered as a question, okay? Because we have the WH. So something important, okay, is that we don't use the same structure than a question. So let's see. I know is a sentence, okay? What you mean is a question. So what do we have then? We have a question. Okay, we have a question inside a sentence. Okay, so that's an embedded question. It's a question inside a sentence. So what you mean is an embedded question. Now, let's continue with point number 2.
Embedded WH questions begin with a question word.
When does the class begin? Can you tell me when the class begins?
Okay, so to form an embedded question, we're going to see when does the class begin? So this is a normal question. Okay, so we have the WH, we have the auxiliary, and we have the normal structure of our question. Okay, so then we have we're going to focus in this part. Okay, not in this one. We're going to talk about it then. So we're going to focus on this part. To form an embedded question, okay, we are going to use a question word. Let's remember that we have what, who, whom, whose, where, when, and that. Okay. In this case, we start with when the class begins. Okay, and it is in the question finished with a question mark. Okay, with a question mark. So as you can see, to form an embedded question, we are going to choose a WH. So you have lots of them, then you can choose, and it depends on your context. And we're going to look for the structured interval, but that's an embedded question. And how can we form the first part of the embedded question? Is there any doubt until this point?
When we form an embedded question, it's supposed that we should to eliminate the auxiliary, right?
Yes, something interesting, right? But we're going to see for it now, okay? But yes, that's a to answer into your question. Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
We're going to see the structure then. Okay, so let's continue with point number 3.
Embedded yes/no questions begin with if. Is she there? Do you know if she's there?
Okay, so we have the other type. Okay, so we already seen the WH, and we're going to see the yes, no. If your question is going to be to an answer referred to yes, no, okay, so we're going to use if, okay. Do you know if she's there? Yes, she is, or no, she is not, okay. So notice that we're starting with if. Only if you are going to need an answer like yes or no, we're going to use if. If you're going to require information, we're going to use the WH, okay? So is there she? Do you know? And we're going to see again. Notice that we have a question, okay, inside of a question, all right? So we're going to see for the structure then, don't worry. Now we're going to continue, and this is the order of the embedded question, okay? So let's remember to this point that we have 2 ways, okay, to form the sentence. Okay, now one to form a sentence and the other one to form a question. So the sentence order, okay, is subject plus verb. The question order is verb, okay, plus subject, oh, sorry, subject and question mark. So you're going to see this kind of chart. So we're going to continue with point number 4.
Notice that we use statement word order, not question order, in embedded questions. Do you know where she is? Do you know if she's there?
Notice this part, please. Okay, so let's see. When we're going to form an embedded question, okay, we are not going to use a question order. We're going to use we're going to use a sentence order, okay, a statement order, word order. What does it mean? So we're going to use the subject plus the verb. Let's take a view. Give me a second. Okay. So in this first part, right? In this first part, we have the question, okay, and the question, right? So this is a question, a normal question where we follow the order. Okay, we have the auxiliary, the subject, the verb. Okay. Then we're going to continue with the next part. Okay, where we're going to focus, and it is the embedded question. Okay, so in the first one, okay, we have a question, WH, okay. In the second one, we have a yes, no question, right? So we're going to choose wherever we want, okay, so it is up to the context for sure, but let's take a view to this part. We are not using a normal question. So a normal question would be, where is she? Where is she? Okay. So in this case, we are going to use a statement order. So what does it mean? Where she is. Okay. Do you know if the question would be, is she there? Okay. Without the if, of course, because it's unnecessary. Okay, so we're going to say directly, is she there? Okay, but as I want to join these two sentences, okay, I mean the question number one with question number one with the sentence, okay, or question number two, I need a connector. Okay, so the where in this case, okay, the where in this case and the if in this case, so it works as a connector. Okay, it is trying to connect the sentence number one, or question number one and question number two. Okay, so for that we're going to use this order, right? Subject, verb, question mark. We're going to see why are we writing question mark, but why does it happen? Because as I have two questions, okay, adding two auxiliary verbs could be redundant, okay, but as I have some context where I need to add to use two questions in one sentence to avoid the redundant, to avoid being redundant, I'm going to use this structure, okay? Where in the first part, we already have the auxiliary. So if I'm going to write again, so it would be necessary and redundant information. So for that, I'm going to choose where or if. Then we're going to continue with the subject plus the verb, okay? So for that reason, we're going to take this structured embedded question. So yes, that will be. Is there any question until this point?
In the case of embedded yes, no questions, it's necessary to use if, of, for example, how, what is an example of how is it in, if, for example, we want to use whether.
Do you know whether is, yes, we can use it. There is no problem. Remember that if and whether it's the same meaning, okay? But whether is a little bit more formal. Okay,
Yes,
so,
but I know that whether, for example, it usually to use in, I don't know, whether that part or not. So that or not or other choose, we have to put inside the question, or is it really correct to use? Do you know whether she is there only without it or not, or tell more or their choose?
okay, so no, not really. Okay, we know that there is no difference between if and whether. Okay, when we are going to translate them. Okay, ambos se traducen como sí. Okay, but then maybe a subtle difference that is notable is that when we're going to use it, it is more like a conditional. Okay, however, whether with the form whether or not, okay, they work with infinitive, okay, or after the preposition, right? So for example, if I won the lottery, I would buy a car. Si ganara la lotería, o si ganase la lotería, compraría un coche. He will be happy whether he finishes first or not. Él estará contento tanto si acaba en primer lugar como si no. Okay. I don't know whether to buy a new house. No sé si comprar una nueva casa. It's all about whether become partners. Okay. Se trata de si nos convertiremos en socios. Okay. Por ejemplo. Entonces, si hay puede ser dependiendo del contexto, pero if se entiende más, se utiliza más para condicionales, ¿ok? Una vez más, no hay diferencia entre if y whether, ¿ok? A la hora de traducirlos, ambos se traducen como sí, pero su uso sí es diferente, ¿ok? Una diferencia notable. Y se usa como introducción a un condicional. Esto es un condicional, ¿ok? Recordemos que tenemos 4 condicionales. Mientras que whether, ¿ok? Con la forma whether or not, porque recordemos que esa es la estructura, es whether or not. Un inglés más informal ya solamente lleva whether, ¿ok? Utilizamos antes de verbos en infinitivos, por ejemplo, o después de preposiciones, si es el caso, ¿ok? Sería esa tal vez la diferencia. En cuanto a esta parte, Okay, do you know whether she's there? No hay ningún problema. Si quieres utilizar whether, no hay ningún problema. Ok.
Okay.
Pero mayormente se utiliza if por el tema de la estructura. Porque como te digo, el whether ya llevaría un inglés un poquito más, más informal. Aparte de que el if es para las condicionales. Ajá. Y whether, uno de sus usos también puede ser para mostrar opciones que podamos tener o posibilidades. Y aquí la pregunta es, si es que en alguna de estas preguntas queremos expresar posibilidades u opciones. Entonces, dependería únicamente del contexto, pero generalmente se utiliza con if. No hay ningún problema si utilizas con whether, pero siempre utilizamos con if. Preferimos utilizar if. Ajá, porque whether ya es como mostrar alguna posibilidad, mostrar algún ejemplo. For example, we will have the picnic, whether it rains or not. Okay?
Whether it what?
Whether it rains or not.
What is the meaning of rains?
It rains. Raining is raining.
Rains. Okay, okay. Okay, I
That's the
hear
person.
rains with M.
Oh, no, rain.
Okay.
It rains.
Okay.
So yes, that's the difference. Okay,
Okay. Thanks, Miss.
you get it?
Yes, I get it.
All right. So there is no problem if you use whether, but the context of whether, I mean, the usage of whether is like when you want to show possibility or probability or choices. And so as you can see, the context the context by itself, it doesn't try to show us something like a possibility or choices, right? For that reason, we prefer to use it because it is more like a conditional, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
don't
I
forget when you're
always what?
oh, don't forget that when you're going to use whether, you have to write if it's necessary because in formal English we omit the or not. Okay, we will have the picnic whether it rains or not. So
Okay.
it's up to you if you're going to add it.
I always thought that whether it was more formal than if.
Could be. But even though the meaning is different.
Yes.
Cuando vamos a traducir, en realidad el significado es lo mismo. Pero ya tiene un significado muy diferente. Ok, entonces sí, en algunas cosas sí se puede traducir como lo mismo, pero el contexto es diferente incluso porque uno explica un condicional. Si llueve, me mojo. Ok, mientras que el otro muestra una posibilidad. Ok, iremos al picnic de igual manera si llueve o no, por ejemplo. Entonces sí hay una gran diferencia. Y sí, tal vez weather es un poquito más formal, pero no deja de ser diferente en cuanto al significado.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Miss.
All right, so let's continue. Right. So let's continue with point number 5.
We don't use a form of the auxiliary verb do in the embedded question.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
I wonder if she has an agent.
Okay, so as we already use, we don't use a form of the auxiliary verb to in the embedded question. Okay, so we're going to focus again in this part, the embedded question, okay, in this part. So we have a WH and we have a yes, no. We don't use any auxiliary form, okay, in this part. Okay, why? Because we are following the statement order. Okay, so as it is a question, it has a rule. Okay, the rule is that we are not going to use any form of the auxiliary verb to in embedded question, okay? For example, in this case, we were supposed to say, what do you mean?
Mhm.
But we omit the auxiliary and we have to modify the structure to the statement order. Okay, so it will be what you mean. Okay, what you mean, what you mean. Then I wonder that the other one was, does she has an agent? Okay. So in this case, I chose I wonder because I want to sound more polite. Then I'm going to use my connector. In this case, as I require a yes, no, so I'm going to choose if. Okay, so then I'm going to continue. I'm going to raise the auxiliary verb does. I'm going to continue with the sentence, the subject, the verb in third person. Remember, why are we writing? Why are we not saying she have? Because we don't have any auxiliary verb. If we don't, so we have to follow the statement order. If I'm talking in third person, so add an S to the verb. If she has an agent, subject, verb. Would be incorrect if I'm going to say, I know what do you mean. That's a common mistake. That's a common mistake. I know what do you mean. No. I know what you mean. So why are we not writing the do at the beginning of the sentence? Do you have any idea?
At the beginning of the sentence?
Yes, I can say, do you know, for example, or I don't know. We can write in the first way. Okay, at the first example in point number 2.
Yes, but I think it doesn't really sounds good. Do you know what? Oh, okay. It could be. For example, do you know what she means?
Oh, okay. Do you know what she means? Could be, okay, but I'm talking about this example. Okay, because we have two types of we're going to say sentence statements. Okay, the first one is when the embedded question starts with a sentence. Okay, let's focus in this part. It is a sentence, subject plus verb, and the other one is that we have a question. Okay, entonces tenemos dos tipos tenemos aquellas embedded question que se encuentran dentro de una pregunta. Y tenemos las embedded question que están dentro de una oración. ¿Ok? Es el caso. Por eso es que no agregamos ningún auxiliar. ¿Ok? Porque no es una pregunta. Por eso tampoco tenemos el signo de interrogación. Entonces no hay. En vez de eso ponemos un punto. ¿Por qué? Porque estamos empezando con una oración. Pero sí, podría empezar, en el ejemplo, en el punto número 2, con una pregunta, claro, ahí puedo poner, no hay ningún problema. Entonces, el embedded question puede encontrarse dentro de una pregunta o una oración. For example, oh, yes, we have that in point number 6, so let's listen. Okay. Let's listen.
You can have an embedded question inside a statement or inside another question. When the embedded question is in a statement, use a period at the end of the sentence. I know what you want. When the embedded question is in a question, use a question mark at the end of the sentence.
Can you tell me what you want?
What do we have here? Okay, so you can have an embedded question inside a statement. Okay, I know, I wonder. Okay, and we also have the embedded question is inside of a question. Okay, so for that reason we need to use a period. Okay, in this case, because we are starting with a sentence. Okay, so we're going to continue with a normal sentence that we have to add a period. But in this case, we have an embedded question is inside of another question. Okay, can you tell me what you want? And we're using in both cases, we're using the statement word order. Okay, a common mistake, okay, is when we say, do you know? And I heard many of students saying like this, do you know where is she? Okay, this is simple because we omit the root. Okay.
Yes.
So we're
It's about
saying
that where she is, right?
exactly. This is the
Yeah.
exact sound. Okay.
Okay.
And we have to take care. If you're going to identify that you are starting with words like do you know, I know, I wonder, okay, do you mind, okay, things like that. Okay, if it is a question, okay, an embedded question where you're going to use another question inside a question inside a sentence. So then you need to use a statement order. Okay, so that's a common mistake.
In
So
embedded, I miss.
yes.
In embedded questions, is it possible to I don't know, like a phrasal verbs, like you put the embedded question in the middle of of other question, other sentence, of is it
Yes, for sure.
of, for example, is it necessary to finish the first class to continue the other, for example?
No, if you want to use phrasal verbs, you can do it because it is a phrasal verb. Okay, it is a verb. We have verbs.
For
So the
example,
only thing that you have to take care is that you are following the rule. For example, I know what she finds out. Okay, or I knew, for example, if I want to write it in the past, yes, supe que quería encontrar, tal vez. Okay, I knew what she finds out. Okay, something like that. So yes, you can do it. You can do it. The only thing that you have to see is that you're following the rule. If you conjugate in third person, okay. So in this case, we don't have, I guess, right? We're not using phrasal verbs, but yes, you can do it. There is no problem. The only thing that you have to take care is when we are going to conjugate. We basically conjugate the first part of the sentence. I mean, this part, I wonder, and can you tell me? Las embedded questions mayormente se utilizan para sonar de manera más formal también. Ok, ese es su uso en realidad. ¿Te importaría si me estaba preguntando si puedes salir conmigo, por ejemplo? Ok, entonces el uso de las embedded questions es eso de sonar tal vez un poco más formal, and then so sometimes we want to use the other one, of course, when we want to use a question as part of another question or statement, then yes, we can use it.
In your last example, for example, the translation, it could be, do you mind if we can date
No,
any
give me a
day?
second. No, in this case, no, you can't, okay? You have to change the context, for example, because if you're going to say, do you mind es te importaría? ¿Te importaría qué quieres? Algo así sería.
No. But in the context of dating, for example, do you mind if we date? Is it correct?
Oh, yes, for sure. Oh, yes, I guess you were talking about this one. Yes, it is okay. Do you mind if, or what do you think if we date? Will we have a date if we have dinner? In that context, yes, for sure, you can do it. You have to see, Rosario, if it makes sense. Okay, so you have to see what kind of introductory phrase are you going to use. That's very important too. So to do, and yes, that will be.
Okay.
So we have introductory statements, phrases. For example, I wonder, I ask, I want to know, I don't know, I'm not sure. The question is, let's ask. Okay, so as you can notice, right, these introductory statement phrases are very polite. Ajá.
Mhm.
Estaba preguntando, me preguntaba, quería saber, no estoy segura y demás. Entonces, también utilizamos los embedded question para alguna situación un poco más formal. Ujú. Para preguntar algo de manera más, ¿te importaría si salimos? Por ejemplo. ¿Ok? Entonces, es un contexto más polite de hablar. This is a way very, very polite to talk, okay? And the other one is when you want to join just a question. You have to question. You want to join two sentences, two questions in one. The other one is that, okay? But we actually use the embedded questions to sound more polite. Mhm.
Okay.
So yes, we can also have use a please tell me, for example. Okay, please tell me, I don't know, I'm not sure. Do you remember? I can tell you when they are leaving, for example. Please explain, I can't understand. Do you know? Could you ask? And then, okay, so I'm going to send you a PDF where we have the most introductory phrases to start an embedded question. Mhm.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes, I get it. Thanks.
Okay, this lesson is very, very interesting. So, okay, is there any other question maybe about the lesson?
No, I think no, Miss. It's always clear.
Okay, so you don't have to forget. I'm going to send you, okay, there are some common mistakes the students make when they use embedded questions. I'm going to look for it because I saw it on Facebook. And then I saved the link, but I have to look for it because it was, oh my goodness, months ago, right? Too many
Okay.
months ago. I'm going to look for it, and if I find it, I'm going to send it, okay?
Okay, Miss. Thanks.
All right, so we were supposed to be practicing, but it is time, so we're going to stop until this part, okay?
Okay, Miss. Yes, we have
So,
the record of
um,
class.
yes, it was, we only have 30 minutes, but it's okay, it's okay. The important part is that we have to see the lesson, okay? So if you, at the moment you're going to do the practice, if you have any question, let me know, okay?
Okay, Miss. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Rosario. Have a great night, and I'm going to see you on Wednesday, okay?